the meat and the potatoes of the show today. You saw the reason I have the thumbnail. It says Minority Report. That was a movie that came out a couple of years ago, about a decade ago, with Tom Cruise. The whole idea was that they had the ability to predict the crime and the criminal before it happens, and they go either get him or kill them. That's what Israel is doing right now in Gaza. It's called something called the Lavender AI. The Lavender AI it's an AI program that was created by Israel to keep tabs on 2.3 million Gazans. They know their names, they know where they live, they know their phone numbers. And out of those 2.3 million, there's about 35 to 40,000 they are considered militants or dangerous or terrorists, or they have a scale from 1 to 100, how bad he is, should we get him? That's why there's a lot of civilian death, because the machine was just telling them attack any place. And the whole idea is, when they used to bomb these buildings, because the machine told them there's a militant in there, they did not take into consideration the kids, the wife, the mother, the neighbors. They didn't give a fuck. And they always say Hamas hides behind civilians. These guys don't even know they're on the list. Some of them are not even militants, probably. That's about 25% to 35% of Gazan men. Remember, out of the 2 million Gazans, 1 million is under 18 years old, and let's say the other half is women. So you're talking about 40% of all Palestinians are on this list of the machine called Lavender, and they were fair game for the Israelis to kill. So they just killed everybody, because the machine said, well, they gave them all these targets, and they destroyed the whole city with people inside these buildings and killed more than 33,000 Palestinians until today, which is shameful and should be a war crime. Now we know why. I'm going to get into it later on. I'm going to put on a video. I'm going to go a newspaper and look at it. You want to start there? Okay. Let's start. Let's see what the program is first. This is a report. Let me see. Is this it?
Identifies terrorist operatives.
Okay, wait. Okay, this is it. Now listen. Okay.
According to Israeli investigative journalists at 972 Plus magazine, Israel has been using an artificial intelligence machine called Lavender to identify thousands of potential Hamas targets in Gaza. The report says Israeli intelligence sources who served in the current war told how Lavender collects information on almost all the 2.3 million residents.
On all 2.3 million Palestinians are under surveillance by this machine. Unbelievable. This is like futurist bullshit, man. This is like the movie Minority Report. Go see it. It was Tom Cruise. Right?
Of the Gaza Strip through a system of mass surveillance, and on a scale of 1 to 100 gives a likelihood that each person is a member of the military wing of Hamas. Being in a WhatsApp group with a known militant, changing address frequently, or swapping phones every few months could all be facts.
You see this? Let's say you are a member of a WhatsApp group, they consider you a member of Hamas. Or you moving addresses, they figure that you're part of Hamas. If you swap in mobiles, if you get a new phone every 3-4 months, they consider you Hamas. Now the whole idea, okay, if they're militants and they consider them enemy combatants, it's okay. But when you go to their houses and bomb the whole family, and then come on TV and tell us Hamas is hiding behind women and children, they didn't even know they were going to kill them. They were sleeping home. They didn't know. You had doctors, you had lawyers, you had professors that were killed under this program. We were saying, what's going on? Why are they bombing so crazy without any thinking about the death and destruction they're going to bring to these women and children, these motherfuckers? Excuse my language. So this is the program they had. This is like the movie. I saw this movie about 10 years ago. Unbelievable.
In the machine determining potential targets to kill. The report claims that after October the 7th, Israel decided to move from targeting high-level Hamas figures to anyone regarded as in the organization.
So remember, they had a scale before they started. Like they only whatever the machine says, 80%, 90% sure. Then they went to the lower. They just said kill everybody. Whoever's name's on the list, just kill them. They went on. This is what's going on in Gaza. It's Nazi-like. What's going on in Gaza is unbelievable. I mean, the world is just sad silence. We, the United States of America, keep on giving them 2,000 bombs. You know, I'm 200 pounds. That's 10 of me in one bomb that are destroying homes and neighborhoods. Hamas don't have no tanks. They don't have no airplanes. They don't have no armored vehicles. You can hit them. They don't have shit. They're in the tunnels like rats. Let's finish this, man.
No matter how junior, and alleges that during the first stage of the war, when thousands were killed in a few weeks, the military allowed for 15 to 20 civilians to be killed as collateral damage per militant.
Allah. You saw what they said? It's okay to kill 15 to 20 civilians if there is one militant in the building or in the premises where they are. That's not collateral damage. That's fucking mass murder. That's Nazi. I think the Jews in Israel, whatever happened to them in Europe, whatever, or in Germany, or the ghettos of Poland, wherever they were, they are using the same tactics on the Palestinians. And it's such a shame you have a people who moved from another continent running away from oppression and suppression and murder and mayhem and the Holocaust, only to create a Holocaust on the native population that's living there. It's unbelievable.
In a system dubbed Where's Daddy, bombings often taking place.
You hear what where is Daddy? The operation name is Where is Daddy? Yeah, that means they're alluding to the children. They're going to be orphans. I'm telling you, Israel is an evil country. It's dangerous. They have nuclear bombs. You know, I want to go and talk more. I think the United States is under danger from within. Because I saw them on Twitter, the way they talk, they just came out all full Nazis. No more of that liberal bullshit. Live and let live bullshit they've been teaching us for the last 40 to 60 years so we could vote. Fucking liberal and Democrats and put them in power.
When targets had been tracked to their family homes. At its peak, Lavender allegedly picked out 37,000 possible targets. In its development, it has claimed human checks on the targets.
These are 37,000 Palestinian men between the age of 18 to whatever. Now, I remember I told you there are 2.3 million Palestinians in Gaza. 1.2 million are children under the age of 18, so they're not on the list. And then you have the other million, you have half of them are women, or, you know, it's even. So that means that's almost like 40% of Palestinians are inside this machine, and they are targets to be killed wherever they are. Even with, the Israeli army said it's okay if there's 15 to 20 people in the building, it's okay to kill them if they want to kill that one guy. I have never, you know, I live in the United States all my life. Don't worry about the accent. I'm a fucking idiot. I came here as a baby. The whole idea, I have never been scared in my whole life to talk about Israel and what they're doing in Gaza. They are vicious. The way they talk is scary. They are inciting people against Muslims in Europe and the United States. They are showing videos of Muslim, and they say, what do these people add to Western society as a way to create a hatred? That's like anti-Semitism 101. Imagine if I put a video of Hasidic Jews in Brooklyn shaking their heads and say, look, what do these Jews add to Western society? Am I not inciting violence against them? They are doing this shit on Twitter. Scary stuff. I think the United States is under danger, man, from within. Because what I saw in Israel is such cruelty and viciousness and hatred and murder of people is unbelievable. That means these people have no sense of mercy or empathy. Nothing. They have destroyed their homes, their schools, their mosques, their roads, their churches, their synagogues. Well, they have one synagogue. The Muslim haven't touched this synagogue for 1,000 years. But the Israeli Jewish army came and destroyed almost 400 mosques. This is a desperation of Zionism. Zionism is collapsing, my friends. It ran right into the wall. We'll get into that later. Stay with me, man. Press like to
Selected by
share.
Lavender,
Join the
suggested
team.
it was accurate 90% of the time in picking out Hamas members. So in a campaign killing thousands, it was accepted that 1 in 10 targets were not Hamas. Lavender was allegedly wrongly picking police officers, civil defense workers, or relatives of militants. In a statement to Channel 4 News, the IDF denied using AI to identify targets.
Okay, they said that this machine is picking targets. What's the difference between them and what the German Nazis did to the Jews when they made them wear the gold star or the yellow star? I don't think it's gold. Yeah, I don't know. And it says Judah on their chest. It's the same thing. It's just this is an electronic. It's an electronic machine, and those were physical things. There is no difference between when Jews were marked with the word Judah on their clothes in the 1930s and 40s inside Nazi Germany, than these people who are being targeted by a machine that is willing to kill. Even the death ratio is crazy. And even 1 out of 10, they said, is a relative or somebody who's like the garbage man or the lecturer or the police officer or the road officer. You understand? This is evil. This is Nazi-like, man. The Nazis never died. Nazism was never defeated. They're right in Israel right now. The children of the Nazis are right now inside the Netanyahu government. I'm going to say it. I don't know if I get in trouble or not on YouTube. I don't give a fuck no more, because the Palestinian lives are more important than money and honesty and truthful.
And said, contrary to Hamas, the IDF is committed to international law and acts accordingly. They claimed to make efforts to reduce harm to civilians and said that exceptional incidents undergo thorough examinations and investigations, and the process of identifying military targets in the IDF consists of various types of tools and methods. Well, earlier I spoke to the journalist Yuval Abraham, who wrote that article for Plus 972 magazine. The IDF have issued a statement saying the IDF does not use an artificial intelligence system that identifies terrorist operatives or tries to predict whether a person is a terrorist.
I read that out to one of the sources, and he burst out laughing. He said it's just not true. It's a lie. I mean, and if you look at, for example, in 2023, the IDF itself.
We're going to go to the article. This is the person, he's a Jewish, he's an Israeli, who cracked the story and found out.
One of the top commanders in the IDF, the head of the H200 AI data center, gave a lecture in Tel Aviv University where he presented a machine that, quote, uses AI to identify terrorists. He was relating to 2021. So I don't know who wrote that response from the IDF, but it's clearly not true, based on their own statements in the past, and also based on what I've heard from numerous Israeli intelligence officers. The sources said that they knew there's a data science team that checked. They took a random sampling of this 37,000 and checked one by one. They realized that the machine is occasionally marking complete civilians or people who have a very loose relation to Hamas. The decision was made to authorize strikes based on this list without meaningfully supervising it. One source, for example...
That's the key, isn't it? This question of what they would do with the list to check it. Because the Israeli
So I can tell you,
statement is very, they're very insistent that there's a process of identifying military targets, and that these are, that these are people and teams, according to international humanitarian law. And what your article is suggesting is that there were no meaningful checks at all.
So what sources told me is that the protocol in the places that they were in the IDF, was to check. The only check that was in place was to listen if the targeted individual, it has a male voice or a female voice. And if it's a female, they said the machine for sure made a mistake, because it's not supposed to mark women. There are no women who are militants. But if it's a male, they were to accept Lavender's recommendation without needing to look at it, without needing to look at the raw intelligence data. And one source, I asked him, he claimed he bombed dozens of houses every day based on these recommendations in the beginning. He said 40, 50 houses a day that he authorized. And I asked him, how much time did you spend before bombing a house that is often killing a Palestinian family? And he told me, and this is a quote, he said, roughly 20 seconds. It does not take a long time to figure out if somebody has a male voice or a female voice. And I've heard that criteria, male or female, from more than one source.
How did they explain that they were ordered to work in that way? Could Israel say these were people who were not doing their job properly? Analysts are supposed to look at lists, analyze intelligence, and take considered decisions. And if they were only considering it for 20 seconds, they weren't doing their job.
So what I heard from these sources is that this is the commands they got. Like one source said, quote, there was not a zero mistake policy. In order to accelerate the target production, in order to bomb so many human targets, they realized that they have to accept these machine results.
What difference do you think the AI machine made? Do you think it meant that they were able to kill more people more quickly? Or perhaps, without that machine, might the bombing have been even more indiscriminate?
One of the sources told me, he said, the machine did it in a cold way. He said, everybody lost people on October 7th. The fact that we relied on the machine so much, on the statistical mechanism, it made him feel comfortable. And this, in this operation, came on the expense of precision. It came on the expense of targeting civilians occasionally as targets. And it came on the expense of the human agency of Israeli soldiers. And I saw it again and again in the process, in calculating how many civilians.
So each soldier used to approve the bombing of 20 to 30 to 50 homes, and it should take them 20 seconds to decide if the target is viable. Now, the criteria that they use for the criteria that they use to bomb a home, a night, or a building is, if they heard a male voice, like a man's voice, it's okay, bomb. Okay, now you bombed the building, then you killed women, the wife, the children, the neighbor, the nephews, because Arab culture, multi-generation, all families live in the same house. So the question you have to ask is, why do Israeli officials go on TV and just say, oh, Hamas is hiding behind women and children? You are killing them in their house. Everybody's not Hamas. And everybody is a resistant fighter. You see, people don't understand that the Palestinians are under occupation. I'm sure every Palestinian doesn't fucking like Israel and hate Israel. It's very simple. I mean, if you're occupied by another country, you're not supposed to like them. You understand? That's the whole game.
Are in each house. Some sources said they did not even check if they managed to kill the targets. They abandoned the BDA protocol, bomb damage assessment, so they can move on to the next target. I think this emphasis that was placed on the kill lists, we're going to kill every single Hamas operative, even if it means that we will sometimes kill civilians, and even if it means if we're going to kill entire families in the process. One source said that this policy, in his mind, was partially motivated by revenge. And I think the last thing I will say, I think if international law has meaning, if when we are saying all of these things that we've been hearing over the past months, a principle of proportionality, a principle of distinction, if these words have meaning, if they're not just, some lip service that we're paying, then I think what my investigation show and what my sources are telling me is that the military emptied it out of meaning.
Yuval Abraham, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So the Lavender operation, which is AI, that picked the targets that the Israeli wanted. Sorry, my lips look goddamn messed up. That the Israeli used to pick human beings to kill. It was spying on more than 2.3 million Palestinians through their phones, through their addresses. It knew almost where everybody is. But the criteria to kill, they were bombing 30 to 40, 50 houses a day. Under the criteria is they don't give a fuck. Under the criteria of revenge. Because the whole idea was if you could hear a man talking inside the building, then he's a terrorist. Kill him. The whole idea is to kill human beings or to revenge October 7, where the Israeli military was embarrassed, and the myth of the invisible army, the Jewish strong Israeli army that is unbeatable or undefeatable, got defeated. The Palestinians took 22 towns and 11 military complex or compounds. Imagine if they had tanks or any real weapons, they would took Israel. It's weak. Israel is weaker than the house of what do you call it in Arabic? A Beit al-Inkabut, the house of a spider. You know how the spider has those webs? That's what Israel military is like. That's why all this cruelty and viciousness against the Palestinians. So let's go to the article that this guy wrote. Alhamdulillah. Let's see it. All right. Share screen. Okay, where's the article? APAC. Lavender. No, it's not it. Okay. This is the article that the guy who just left here, he wrote. Is he over here? Okay, here. Lavender, the AI machine directing Israel's bombing spree in Gaza. The Israeli army has marked tens of thousands of Gazans as suspects for assassination using an AI target system with little human oversight and a perceptive policy for casualty. This is by a magazine called 972, which I think is the area code for Israel. This is a Jewish magazine. But by the way, full disclosure, I pay $25 a month to help them out. All right. So this is the guy. His name is Yavil Ibrahim. In 2021, a book titled "The Human Machine Team: How to Create Synergy Between Humans and Artificial Intelligence That Will Revolutionize Our World" was released in English under the pen name of Brigadier General Y.S. Innit. The author, a man who confirmed to be the current commander of the elite Israeli intelligence unit 8200, this is like a Mossad, makes the case for designating special machine that could rapidly process massive amounts of data to generate thousands of potential targets for military strikes in the heat of a war. Such technology, he writes, will resolve what he described as human bottleneck for both location and new targets and decisive making to approach the target. So what he's saying right there is they're saying that it's like a video game. They have a video game where they pick any Palestinian home and they just blow it up. Doesn't matter, children, women, men, it doesn't matter. These people have lost their humanity. They are not humans. They are subhuman. They are the animals. Remember when the defense minister of Israel said the Palestinians were human animals? We saw who the animals are. The animals are the Israelis. They're killing everything. They're destroying everything. Such as machine, it turns out, actually exists. A new investigation by Plus 972 magazine and local call reveals that the Israeli army has developed an artificial intelligence-based program known as Lavender, unveiled here for the first time. According to 6 Israeli intelligence officers who have all served in the army during the current war on the Gaza Strip and had first-hand involvement with the use of AI to generate targets for assassination. It's not assassination, it's mass murder. Lavender has played a central role in the unprecedented bombing of Palestinians, especially during the early stages of the war. In fact, according to the sources, its influences on the military operation was such that they essentially treated the outputs of the AI machine as if it were human decisions. So, in other words, whatever the machine said, they just did. They did not make sure. They did not clarify or look at the targets. It's just that's it. That's it. Formerly, the Lavender system this is dangerous. This is the future, people. That's how they're going to kill each other, humans with machines. Formerly, the Lavender system is designed to make all suspected operatives in the military wing of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, including low-ranking ones, maybe a friend or a neighbor, ones, a potential bombing target. The source told Plus 972 on Local, that's the name of the magazine, that during the first weeks of the war, the army almost completely relied on Lavender, which clocked as many as 37,000 Palestinians as suspects, militants, and their homes for possible airstrike. That's why you have this mass bombing, because they are dependent on a machine to tell them how to kill human beings. This is not right. This should not be. This is not normal, my friends. This is some crazy stuff. During the early stages of the war, here I am right here. I'm reading. Okay. That is you. Okay. Whoa. Go back. Okay. Okay. During the early stages of the war, the army gave sweeping approval for officers to adopt Lavender, kill list. They say kill anybody you want, with no requirements to thoroughly check why the machine made those choices or to examine the raw intelligence data on which they were based on. One source stated that human personnel often served only as a rubber stamp for the machine. That means whatever the machine said, they said, okay, go kill them. The machine's decision adding that normally they will personally devote only about 20 seconds to each target before authorizing a bombing, just to make sure the Lavender marked target is male. So in other words, it took them 20 seconds to make the decisions whether to kill these human beings. The main source or criteria was if the machine heard male voice, a man talking, then they bombed the building. This is war crime. This is genocidal bullshit. This is Nazis. This is the same. This is not. It's not human, man. It's not human. I hope these motherfuckers get theirs one day. This was despite knowing that the system maker makes what are regarded as error in approximately 10% of casualties and is known to occasionally mock individuals who have merely a loose connection to a militant group. So that means 10% of the people are innocent. Forget about the women and children. These are the targets. They make a mistake. That means out of 100 men, 10 men will be killed for no reason, because the machine made a mistake. And out of the 100 people, their wives and children will be dead. And they'll come on TV, these fucking animals, these pro-genocidal apologists, and go tell you that Hamas is hiding behind women and children. Hamas, motherfucker, you're bombing people in their homes. Moreover, oh, sorry. No. Come on. Yeah. What is that? See, I made a mistake. I hate when I touch things. All right. Moreover, let me read more. Moreover, Israel's army systematically attacked the targets individually while they were in their homes, usually at night, while their whole families were present, rather than during the course of military activity. That means if they were in the battlefield, it's okay, or in the tunnels. But you're killing people you suspect are terrorists in their homes while they are at that moment sleeping with their children and their families. Allah, 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 Allah. According to the sources, this was because from what they regarded as intelligence standpoint, it was easier to locate the individual in their private house. Additionally, automated system, including one calling, "Where's Daddy?" Alaykum na'anatullah ya bigrimin. Curse on you. These are criminal. Israel is criminal. The name of the program was called "Where's Daddy?" That means the bomb is looking for the father. In other words, it's telling you that the children and women is going to die. It's not saying where's the terrorist. It's saying where's Daddy. That means Daddy has children. He's the head of the family. So they knew, they deliberately murdered women and children. Unbelievable, man. History will never forgive the United States and Joe Biden for letting this happen, because without Joe Biden, this shit would not be happening like this. Also revealed here for the first time were used specifically to track the targeted individual and carry out bombings when they had entered their family's residence. This is the outcome, people. This is what they do. The result, as a source testified, is thousands of Palestinians, most of them women and children, or people who were not involved in the fighting, were wiped out by Israeli airstrikes, especially during the first weeks of the war because of the AI program. This program killed they wiped out whole generations of family. That means the father, the mother, the grandfather. That means the whole name disappeared. We were not interested in the killing operatives only when they were in a military building. There's no military buildings in Gaza. Or engaged in a military activity, an intelligence of officers toward 972. So let's come to this conclusion. Get rid of, oh, sorry. All right, I'm back. So, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, what I'm trying to tell you here is that there is no